Hey everybody, Rachel here from Rachthestamper.com, and today I wanted to show you this really unique fun fold. This uses the really pretty citrus paper, and please forgive me, I cannot remember the name of it. And it's definitely a very bright and fun card if you want to send to someone you're trying to cheer up. We're using some lemon lolly and some peach pie, and then the really pretty paper in the background. Now, when I did this paper, this is actually for Stamp Club, so you only get 2 sheets of each. This does come in 12 by 12, and I needed to cut it to 4 inches, so we're measuring this by 4 inches and then cut the pieces down. And you can only get so many pieces out because you're cutting them at 4 inches by 2 3/8, because these folds measure at 2 3/4, and I like to have a little bit of a border. So these measure 2 3/8. And what it did is it left me with some little scrap pieces at the end. So I actually decided that what I was going to do for this other card that we're going to make today is I used the scrap pieces, and instead of them being full, I cut them into strips. So these are actually 4 inches by 1 1/4, and they're just the leftover pieces, so you could use this. So I'm going to just break these up. And you can see they are, there are 2 of them because of where the end piece is. They do look pretty much the same, but I kind of trimmed them down. So they're going to be on 2 different pieces here. And they almost kind of look like they would line up, but they don't really line up. So it's kind of cool. So we're going to use those today. So I'm going to tell you everything that we did. So we are also using part of a stamp set. This is one that we got some time ago and I've never used, and I was looking for a little something because originally I just did it plain and I felt like it needed something. So I actually just pulled out this little connecting dot, and then I went around it with lemon lolly ink, and then again with peach pie ink. And then you can see originally I tried to stamp the sunshine in peach pie, but it just wasn't dark enough. So I ended up going back and doing it with black. But this stamp is actually from a very large stamp sending sunshine and rainbows, but I only wanted the sunshine and I kind of wanted to change it up. So what I did is when we're doing this stamp, we're just going to ink just the word and then stamp it. And then another fun thing I have is, I have to see what this is called because I can't remember this either. This is the mini alphabet die. So all of these get cut at the same time. So what I did is I just ran this through with black cardstock and I cut a whole bunch of different letters. So I cut this out and I have the hello, and then I just put a little bit of Wink of Stella on it. So we are also using the deckled rectangles just because I kind of gave a little bit of something. I tried it with plain, just the rectangle layers, and it just wasn't really cute enough. It was kind of like, it just needed a little something. And I really think the deckled gives a lot of like a, I guess like a whimsy look to this. So we're going to get started. So I have my couple pieces here. And to begin, we're going to be using a piece of basic black. And I did already go ahead and score this, but I'm going to show you what I did. So let me slide these off. This is scored in half at 5 1/2. It's just a 5 1/2. I'm sorry, 4 1/4 by 11. You're going to score it at 5 1/2. You're going to also score it at 2 3/4. That's how you get your Z fold. So it's kind of like a basic Z fold card. You could also just score in 5 1/2 and then bring this and fold it back if you want. So this is just a little bit of a different take on it because we have this front flap. So I'm going to move this up. So you do want to make sure when you fold this that you do reinforce your creases because it helps your Z folds to stand up a little bit better. Same thing here. And then what we're going to do is I have a piece of lemon lolly. We're going to just cut this out in a moment. And then I have my pieces of DSP. The other side of this is really pretty. It's almost like Mediterranean look. So I'm going to put these on here so you can see. So normally you would have a piece, if you want to do the full piece, that's like this here. This measures 2 3/8 by 4. So you'll need 2 pieces of those. But again, I was just using the end of the scrap. So what I figured is I would kind of cut them down a little bit and space them. That way we could still use it. And you can turn these almost so the images kind of line up. So that's what we'll do. So I'm going to just put some liquid glue here. We'll put these on first. And then we'll do our stamping and die cutting. So we're going to just glue these down. And we still have lots of people in the, I guess, North American hemisphere, in Florida, California, probably Texas, that'll still have really warm weather. But we also have the friends that are going to be going into winter, and maybe they need a little bit of cheering up to remind them of something sunnier. So I think this would be the perfect card to kind of brighten someone's day. So I just kind of spaced them out. So it almost looks like window panes because you have the little gaps in between, but still looks pretty cute. Okay, so those are going to sit on there. So we have this, which we are going to cut. I believe I did the second largest because this one, nope, I did the largest. So the largest decal will be on there. This one was just a little too small. I didn't really like it. So we're going to use the largest decal, and I believe it is the third, yes, and the third largest. So this is going to be for a piece of peach pie. So I'm going to go ahead and die cut this and my scrap piece of peach pie. I'm just going to cut both of these out. Lay them on here. When you put anything on your die cutting machine, regardless of what kind, you really want to avoid putting the piece square because it puts a lot of pressure on the die from the roller. So what I try to do is just kind of put it just slightly askew, and depending on your magnet or what kind you have, you might need a little piece of tape just to help it stay in place. And then I'm going to do this one down here as well, and I'm just going to put it this way. And same thing, I'm going to add a piece of tape, and then I'm going to run this through. Okay, so I'm going to put these through. Now I already did enough with my die cut alphabet that I don't have to do that part, so this is the only die cutting. Sorry about that. I didn't have my piece all the way through. I had to move it. So we have our layer here, okay? And we have our smaller layer, which will be for our front panel right here, okay? So we're gonna take those, put this away. So now what we're gonna do is we're going to start with doing our stamping round. So I'm just grabbing this little, it's kind of like a border piece. I guess you could use this for whatever it was hanging your plant for Plant in Paradise, but it's just the lines and the dots. And we're going to put it on a block. Grab ourselves a scrap. And we're going to do both of these. And they're just tone on tone. So we're going to start with our lemon lolly, and then we'll do our peach pie. And I kind of tried to overlap a little bit just so it went all the way around the edge. And you also want to make sure when you do this that you do use full strength ink, because this is a super light color. And you could try it plain, but I just feel like because this color is so light, it just needed a little something just to make it pop. All right, so there's our one border. And now I'm going to close this. And now we'll do our peach pie. Don't do what I do. Make sure you clean your stuff off in between. And it fits almost perfectly, but I kind of overlapped just a little bit because there was just the tiniest bit. And on my first card, I did an overlap, and I really didn't like the way it turned out. So I tried to make sure that I didn't try to line it up. And another thing I added to it, and I don't really know that it is better or not from it, but I did it anyway. I took a sponge dauber, and I just sponged just the edges. felt like it gave it just a little something. Okay. All right, now you don't need this anymore unless you're gonna excuse me, add some more sponging. One sec for a cough drop break. And I'm going to put these on kind of just to eyeball where I want to put my other sentiment. So I have my hello. Doesn't have to be perfect. Just kind of eyeball where you think you want it. If you have reverse tweezers, it would be helpful to pick these up, or any sort of a pick tool would be helpful. Now what we're going to do is grab our sentiment. So again, we only want the sunshine. So we're going to do, put this on a block, and then we're going to take our black marker. Sorry, this is why I need a mute button. We're going to take our black marker, and we're going to just ink up just sunshine. Then we're going to huff on it and stamp it. Try your best not to get it on any of the connecting words. If you get it on the bottom here, it's not going to show up, but and you don't have to do any cleanup later. One other thing you might be able to tell from this is part of this is like a little bit different the way it's printed. So if you want it to be a little bit more of a solid stamp, ink it with a Versamark first. But I have everything there. There's nothing below. Make sure that looks good. So I'm just going to huff on this, so Darth Vader, and then stamp. I'm kind of just eyeballing. Okay, I need to pick up a couple of my letters, which is no biggie. But there you go. And put this on the side. And then we're going to just attach, and I'm going to grab my tweezers. So just a little glue, you don't need a lot. Sometimes with these, what I'll do is I will find my middle letter and put that on first. So I feel like it kind of helps me center. So if you have 5, put your middle L in first. And then I'm going to add some Wink of Stella. All right, I'm going to add my O. L. And the way these letters are written, you don't really have to put them on straight because they do kind of have like a little bit of, I guess, a whimsical cut to them. So it's not like they need to be lined up. But you could if you want. Everybody likes different things. I'm gonna move this. Okay, now I'm going to grab, I just got a brand new Wink of Stella. Didn't even open it yet, so I'm going to show you how, in case you don't know how these work. I finally used mine to the point where I couldn't use them anymore. So what you have to do is you take it out of the package, and you take the cap off, unscrew, and you want to take off this black ring so you can actually puncture. So you put this on. And then before you do any squeezing, make sure you really shake it. I know that's a little bit wonky, but it's going to be okay. And then you're going to squeeze just a very little bit. You don't want to squeeze a lot. So if you can can see this here. You can see it starts coming down here. and then it'll start coming out. And I kind of always try to start off. So you can see it does come out really quickly. So I'm going to just dip here. I'm not going to do anything more. I'm going to let this just saturate into this. And as a matter of fact, so I'm going to go over this. What I'm going to do, since there is some extra here, is I'm going to take some of my dried out pens and I'm going to just sit the tip in there for it to absorb. So for example, this one, pretty dried out. I'm just going to sit it in there for it to absorb. And a lot of times I'll use these as like a substitute for an aqua painter. So it always will have a little bit of shimmer to it. But kind of a good way to make sure you get all of it out of your pen. I always have some of these laying around. So this is a little bit more glittery than it normally would be, even with this one, because these obviously were at the end and this is a brand new one. So just keep that in mind. And now all we have to do is attach this and this. You just move this off. I'm going to put some glue on here. And then remember, when you put this, you only want to put glue on this side, otherwise your whole card won't open. So I kind of usually will fold it and then decide about this half. But since it is going to be a fun fold, make sure you do put enough glue on there that it's not going to not stay on. Okay, and there you go. You could add any of the other images to this if you wanted to. There's a lot of different stuff in here that you could tie in that could technically be a leaf from a fruit, or you can just leave it as is. And then the only other thing I did was I added these little gems onto the end. And these are the adhesive back dots for days. I just kind of put one at the top and one at the bottom because I really didn't think it needed that much more. And I'm going to go with these small ones. Where's my jewel picker? Can't find it. All right, we'll use this instead. Use my spatula. And I'm going to just put these, one on the top and one on the bottom. I got 2 and 1. 1, 2. There we go. This is a relatively new embellishment, so these are something that is still currently in stock. We just had a big refresh lately. There is still quite a bit of stuff in the clearance rack if there's something that you're looking for. But that was a pretty simple card. Just a little bit of DSP. And again, you could switch this up. We did just use, and this is sold singly, the black Stampin' Up marker if you want to just ink one thing. So it's a good way. This one, as I showed you originally, I kind of did it first with the orange thing. I kind of like the shadow of it, but I still think it's really cute. I want to thank you so much for watching today. I do apologize again for my coughing fit there in the middle, but you know, school's in session, so it only took me a minute to catch a germ from somebody, but we'll keep going no matter what. Thank you so much for watching. If you'd like to get any of the products used today to make this card or any of the other cards, you can click right below. My online store will have all the descriptions of everything there. We do have a really great joining promotion right now running through October 31st of 2024. You can choose $155 worth of anything for $99, and it does ship for free. That is valid if there's a link below. You can join if you would like. We have lots of people that join for different reasons. We have people that join to sell stuff. We have people that join just because they like to get stuff at a discount. So no shame, whatever way you want to go. If you have any questions or I can help you with anything, please feel free to shoot me an email at rachthestamper@gmail.com. Otherwise, if you click the links below, it will take you to all of the most active things on my blog, website, and in my online store. If you haven't already, please like, subscribe, share, and follow. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day.